I'm at 6307 Tyne Avenue in Cincinnati, Ohio. I believe this is Kennedy Heights. I'm doing a sanitary lateral inspection for the purchase of a home. And we're looking for any structural issues, root intrusion, anything that may be of concern to the buyer. Now you can hear the HVAC kicking up, so hopefully you can still hear me clearly, but the access point here is the rear stack. You can see it's PVC. This is the back. There's also one there that comes over. But so we'll take a look at all this. But this is the main stack that comes down from the bathroom. And I'm expecting, based off the age of the house, and there we are, to have clay all the way out under the floor and out all the way out to the main. So I have a little bit of water here, but the camera lens is only about a ½ inch off the bottom of the pipe, so having just a little bit of water here is not an issue. And then hopefully, if I need to, I can go get a little bit of a standoff that rises that camera up, because it is pretty common to have just a little bit of water, especially in these old lines. They're pretty flat inside the house. And it looks like what may be causing the water here is that we have some root intrusion off to the left. And so we can get past it, but about 17 feet there. We'll take a look at that on the way back. And I may end up just getting that. There's a little more root intrusion here too at this joint. And it's fairly common to have root intrusion in clay lines, just because the nature of them. They were built in 3-foot sections, so there's a lot of connections. And so over the years, the packing at those joints breaks down. And you start with just a little bit of finger roots get in, and then they obviously grow up and out. And most of the time they don't cause a whole lot of structural issues. As long as you keep them at bay, keep them clean, they usually are limited to right around there, like right around the joints. And so far, the way this is looking, probably does need at least chemical treatment. And I would see about either having a jetting done, which would be, but it would have to be a high pressure enough one to get rid of those roots. Or you could have a mechanical cleaning done, as long as they were able to get a 6-inch double knife in there, so where it would scrape the edge of the pipe and get rid of these. Be able to get rid of the roots all the way on the outside edge. The reason I say that is it's not a huge amount of roots, but those spots are in the flow line, and that can cause, like this stuff, it can actually catch, toilet paper, and if you're using them, which you shouldn't be, it can, wet wipes are a major problem, because they don't break down, so they will catch on that and it will just pile up, and they won't disintegrate in the water like toilet paper would. So far it looks like the line is okay structurally, but I may end up going back through this with the standoff on it. Just to kind of get some looks at a few spots. And overall, the line looks pretty good. I think most of the trees are in the back, so I think a lot of the roots were more on the interior of the house than they were on the exterior. But so hopefully, as we push, we'll get out to the main. We'll be able to rinse the camera off, and we'll be able to see better on the way out. On the way back. of where we are, the footage, and where I believe the main is in the middle of the street. So we'll try to get out to the main, and then once it drops in, if I need to, I can run some water. I think this is the tap right here. And I'm hitting a little, I think I'm hitting the turn where it's turning and dropping into the main. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is to verify that and make sure we're off the property. I'm going to stop right here at 102 feet. I'm going to pause the video, and I'm going to locate exactly where the camera is to show where we are. We should be off the property. And once you get off the property, once you're usually at the sidewalk, from there out, it is the responsibility of the Metropolitan Sewer District to do any repairs. So we just want to verify that we are next to the main and that we are off the property, and therefore nothing from here on out would be any responsibility of the homeowner, since I can't make it past this last turn. Okay, so the line is this is right before it drops into the main. It's lining up perfectly with the main. There is a manhole right in front of the house. You can see where it's turning, and that's what it is. It's turning down and dropping into the main right here downstream, which is a normal way they do it. And so from that point, what we want to look at is from that point there, back about 30 feet, so to about 70 foot to here is off the property. I'm trying to see if I can get that little bit rinsed off here. There's a little smudge on the camera there. I'm going to make it better or worse. Some water in this stationary tub here. Now it should take a minute for it to get down there, but I'm going to try to rinse this line out a little bit. See if I can rinse off the camera head so we can see a little better on the pullback. And then I think I am going to put a standoff on this and go back out and take a look at a few spots just to get a better sight line on those. So it will take a minute for the water to get down 100 feet, but based off of what I've seen, the line looks pretty good structurally. It would just need a little bit of maintenance for the roots. Hopefully we don't see anything else on the way back. There we go. We're starting to get a little bit better idea. So like I said, back to about 70 feet or so. We should be. So that's. Yeah, we want to be able to see these spots here. We have some roots here. Feet. Should be able to start this thing off a little bit here. Yep, I think I'm just going to go ahead and have to pull all the way back, put the standoff on the camera, and then we'll push back out after I clean the line out, or clean the camera off, I'm sorry. It just doesn't want to, got something on the front, something that's greasy and just doesn't want to rinse off. So again, looks structurally like everything is in pretty good shape. Have a couple pieces of construction debris. Quickly so I can go ahead and put the standoff on here and get a better look at the line. So, back. So, got the standoff on the camera. I'm going to go ahead and clean this off here. Make sure that the lens is clean. We'll go through here. So here we are for a second pass. This should hold us up a little higher. We don't have to worry about it much now. There's a little more water here because I'm running it, obviously. So, with it being flat, it's going to hold a little bit of water there. And like we mentioned, there's some roots right up here that were kind of holding the water back also. It's like right here. And then once you get over that, you can see how the water has to get high enough to get over this root ball before. So it's damming up the line, and then once it overtakes it, it does flow. So mainly we just have, that is a tie-in, it has some roots growing in it, and that may be, it's either a floor drain or it could be a downspout. I don't know if they are still hooked up here, but you know, we are unable to get to inspect that section of line, but the roots, those are fairly minor as far as roots go, but they can obviously get bad and they should be taken care of as soon as possible so that they don't cause a backup when someone takes occupancy. Some more roots. So you can see here for the first like 40 to 50 feet. There's a decent amount of roots, and so they will have to be cleaned. Structurally, it still looks like it's pretty good shape. Here's that spot where there's a small piece of PVC water pipe is what it looks like was right there. That would have got down the line maybe from when they were doing the repairs. Or putting in the stack or something like that. And that should, with enough water going down there, especially if you have it cleaned, it should flush out to the main. So right around here is where the line is. So this is where I want to take a look. Going to push all the way back out. With this on there, I may be able to make that final turn at around 100 feet. And we have some spots here that looks like you have a gap right here. I don't see any mud or anything getting down in there as far as from the surroundings. But, and this would all be off the property. So if this does cause an issue from here on out and back there, that would be the responsibility of the sewer district. It just looks like some really old connections. Look like they have some gaps in between the male and the female, like the spots have been. The packing is gone. Here was this last turn that I couldn't get around last time. Let's see if we can get it around just to show the main this time. Well, maybe not. Thought the ball would help. There we go. You can see it. We're looking into the bigger pipe now. So that is the connection to the main. So from here back 30 feet, we're hoping that we can see enough on here. Just want to make sure that there's no dirt or earth falling through any of the connections here. They're obviously really old. Like that. I see some cracks, but it is holding shape. I don't see any holes or anything in there. You can see this right here. It looks like there's a broken connection here at 92 feet. This is off the property. It's only 10 feet. This would be in the street. And so you could send this to MSD, but most likely they won't do anything about that because it's holding shape and it's not causing any current issues. And so all this here, all these spots that we're looking at here, this is all off the property. This is all the Metropolitan Sewer District. Let's see. There it looks like looks like mineral deposits and stuff, because that was pretty hard. It's still flowing past it and it's open, but so a lot of these connections, the good thing is a lot of these connections that look a little suspect are all off the property. Until you get to about 70 feet on here, this is all MSD. I keep mentioning that so that, you know, I'm not, because I don't see anything that is a obstructing flow and anything that's causing a current issue. But in the future, you could always, if it ever does, if something does happen to those areas, you can feel comfortable that you would just have to report them to the sewer district and have them inspect it, and they would do the repair. So from here on back is what we really want to concentrate on and make sure that there's no issues other than that little bit of root intrusion. Here's that piece of pipe with the root intrusion. That's really good sample of what happens is the roots just catch other things and they can build up and cause backups. That pipe shouldn't be in there either way, but the water was able to float, the plastic would float on top of the water until it hit those roots and then it stopped it. So a large flush of water would probably get rid of that. About 37 feet. So the first 40 feet you have minimal amount of roots, but does need to be cleaned. It's about medium actually, I wouldn't say minimal. But it's a medium amount of roots, and that should be cleaned because of the placement. It is down in the flow line, so you want to have those taken care of so they don't cause backups once someone moves in. And then the good news is for the structural stuff, which nothing is causing a current issue, so it's all holding shape well. But if any time in the future those spots become a problem, the Metropolitan Sewer District should repair them. This was the worst spot here at about 15 feet. That's what's holding back this water. So the water is overtaking the roots, but at 15 feet there's a big ball of roots that's forcing the water to get high enough to overtake it. And that's why it's holding all that water. You get rid of those roots and that line will, that water will dissipate and flow on down the line like it's supposed to. So, as you can tell, we've made it all the way back. And so to sum everything up, the first 40 feet has some root intrusion. The first 15 foot to that 40 feet is the worst part. 15 feet is the worst part. It should be cleaned before taking occupancy, just to be sure that it doesn't cause any backups. And then once you hit about 70 feet, is when you leave the property and it becomes the Metropolitan Sewer District, and and from then on out there are some spots that just look a little, they're not perfect joints, they look a little loose. There's a little bit of cracking, some radial cracking and some longitudinal cracking down the line, but it's holding shape and it's flowing freely at the time of inspection. So most likely the sewer district won't do anything until it does cause an issue, if it does. And with it holding shape and flowing freely right now, they won't do anything. But it's something just to make you feel comfortable about. If those sections ever do cause an issue, they are off the property. But other than that, the line looked, the main part of the line looked good structurally. Just have to take care, the main responsibility of the homeowner would be to take care of those roots. And before anybody moves in, just to be sure that it doesn't cause any backups. And that should be about the only thing that needs to be done. So that'll end the inspection at 6307 Tyne Avenue in Cincinnati, Ohio.